All right, here we go. Round one. We're into it. Let's see what's going on. We'll take our opening 7 here. I don't think we can keep a hand with Mountain as our only mana source, so let's move on. All right, this is a little more keepable, right? You've got a couple fetch lands, some removal, importantly a cantrip, and Snapcaster and a Days Undoing. So yeah, we'll give this a shot, and we will put back our Mountain. And opponent is also starting off on a multi-6. So we're gonna be on the play. So we'll lead off with Flooded Strand, and just kind of do nothing here. And looks like they're gonna go Badlands Lackey go. So why don't we, this looks like a good spot to fire off our Ponder now that we've got compare it with a fetch land. Make sure we just get the best card here, shuffle the rest away. And what are we going to see? We're going to get Caracas, Snow-Covered Mountain, and Teferi. So let's take the Teferi here. And get rid of that lackey. So this is a replay again. We could have gotten rid of the lackey on our opponent's turn. Probably would have been better to wait, but anyways, when I was playing this, for some reason I thought it would have been better to get rid of it on my turn, so I went ahead and did that. And opponent's going to go ahead and play a Wasteland here. They're going to play an Aether Vial, and they're going to pass the turn. We'll let the Vial resolve. So our turn. Okay, we hit our land drop, so this looks like a good spot to just go Snap Ponder, right? So let's do that. And opponent's got main deck Pyroblast. Interesting. I mean, I guess blue is a big share of the meta, so not too crazy to be running main deck Pyroblast. Now, what is a little bit crazy is what our opponent's about to play here. They're gonna play a Bloodstained Mire, and then this one's a Reader, Priest of the Forgotten Gods. So when they let off with the Lackey and they played the Aether Vial, I was like, all right, this has to be Goblins. And then I see this thing, and I'm just like, maybe this is some strange brew, right? It's probably Goblins, right? Lackey. But this one gives you some pause for thought. And if you can't read it, sacrifice 2 other creatures. You tap it and sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. You add 2 black and draw a card. And it's a 1/2 human cleric. Bit of an odd choice for Goblins, but I guess maybe it's a sacrifice outlet for, I don't know, if you have a Pashalik Mons or something going. It might have some synergy there. So, anyways, I'm going to go to our turn, and I think what makes the most sense here really is just, so we'll play our land, and then we'll just play Teferi and bounce the Priest of the Forgotten Gods to essentially time walk our opponent while leaving behind a Teferi, and we'll draw a Breacher off that, and on the end step, our opponent tapped their Aether Vial to sort of psych us out a little bit, but nothing actually came of it. So what are they going to do? They're just going to, replay? Well, I think they're going to waste us here. Oh, yeah, especially with a double Wasteland. Take out our Caracas. And they don't have to replay the Priest because they have an Aether Vial, so they can just do it off that. And we draw Flusterstorm for the turn. Not amazing in this matchup, but Might not be completely horrible since our opponent is on main deck Pyroblast. They might have a couple hits. I mean, worst case, it pitches the Force of Negation, right? So again, we drew our Flusterstorm. We don't have a land drop here. I think the best bet is just plus Teferi, do nothing. And opponent flashes in Priest of the Forgotten God. We could... So they're going to attack this turn, right? And we could potentially flash in Hullbreacher as a blocker, but I think we just let Teferi take the hit. He can afford to go down to 1. Reason for that being, I don't want to expose Hullbreacher on my opponent's second main phase when they might have some kind of removal for it. If I wait until end step, they can't really interact with Hullbreacher, thanks to, Teferi doing his thing. So, and we've got the Days Undoing in hand, so it's pretty elementary from here. Flash and Breacher on the end step. And, okay, we play our land, we plus Teferi, and, technically we could wait until our opponent's draw step to lock him out of that card before we fire off Days Undoing, but they're going to tap their Aether Vial, and I'm just going to use Days Undoing in response to that to end my turn so they don't get the Aether Vial activation. And that's pretty much going to end it. They're going to draw their card for the turn and then realize, okay, we're done here. So going on to game number 2. Let's open up how we want to sideboard here. So, I think what makes the most sense is we're going to trim a couple Force of Negations and a Flusterstorm and bring in 2 Pyroclasms and a Torpor Orb. So let's check out game 2 now. And opponent is now going to be on the play. It's a little bit of a land-heavy hand. We're keeping it, though. Just going to play land, ponder. We put back Days Undoing, plow, ponder. And obviously we'll keep that ponder. So what's the opponent going to do here? They're just going to go land, go. Kind of a slow start for Goblins. We're going to go land. We're going to ponder again. We're going to see Undoing, Force of Will, and Plains. Not terribly great, so we shuffle, and we hit Plains again. So also not great. Opponent, they're playing a land here. And Pashalik Mons. So, again, we thought maybe it was a little bit of a weird sort of brew. Maybe Goblins, maybe not Goblins. But pretty certain it's Goblins now that we see Pashalik Mons. So we draw a Breacher, play a land, pass. And they're going to go land, pass. So they've played 4 lands now and not really done anything except that one Pashalik Mons. We hit another Breacher. And now they're going to do something interesting. They're going to dash in Ragavan. So we'll take the hit. They get a plow. It's unfortunate. We get ourselves a Brainstorm here and a fetch. Beautiful, except they've got Pyroblast ready for it. And I think we're okay with that. So we'll just continue. They're going to dash in Ragavan again. We'll try to Breacher this for block. But they've got another blast. So what did they get? They got a Prismatic Vista off their Ragavan hit. And we are getting flooded here. So they'll go Ragavan again. We'll go Hardcast Force this time. All right, got them. They'll waste our land. We hit Clasm here on an empty board. That's a little bit awkward. Uh-oh. Big ol' Muxus. Hits a Matron, and the Matron here, I believe, finds, yes, another Muxus so that they can activate Muxus again next turn. So we'll Clasm, clean up the board. And then what we're going to do here, let me slow it down a little so you can see it step by step. We're going to play Narset first. And then we're going to activate Narset, and what we see is we see Dress Down, Narset, Days Undoing, and then a Karakas that we can't take. And I think, while it's tempting to take the Days Undoing, which sets up the combo next turn, we know they have another Muxus in hand. That could be pretty brutal. So I think we're going to go for, well, I shouldn't say I think. This is a replay. I know what happened. But we're going to go for Dress Down so that we can essentially preempt their second Muxus. So they're going to play their second Muxus next turn. And then with Muxus on the stack, we play Dress Down. So they get no Muxus trigger. They also don't get the attack bonus from this Muxus, although they won't get an attack bonus anyways because it has no trigger. So they're just swinging for 4. And then next turn, presumably they kill Narset. The expectation is, okay, we hit a card off Dress Down, we hit a card for our draw step, and we hope between those 2 cards plus Breacher, maybe we can cobble something together. So let's have at it and see how this plays out. So we took the Dress Down. Opponent upticks Vial. Now, it may have been safer to play the Dress Down on their upkeep to, so they don't get another opportunity to find a blast. But we figured we wanted to catch Muxus rather than have him play something else, and got punished there a little bit. They had the blast, and now they put all these other goblins into play. Munitions experts take out Narset. Muxus swings for 10. We're going down to 3. Looking bleak here. And we hit a land. Brick dead. So that was game 2. Looks like we're going to have to play a game 3. So why don't we go back to our deck list. We're going to make a minor sideboarding change between game 2 and 3. We're going to pull out a Force of Will and bring back in a Flusterstorm. Reason for that is we've seen a lot of blasts out of our opponent. They had 1 main deck, and then game 2 we saw 3 of them. They're probably playing over 4 copies of Blast. And Force of Will, not super good. Might make more sense to keep a Fluster so we can win the counter wars like that. Again, particularly against things like, Pyroblast, Red Blast, since those were pretty crippling to us in game 2. So, why don't we go back over to game 3 now? So what are we on now? We are on -1 force of will, and that's it. Yeah. I mean, that's the only change. So let's go back to MTGO to our match. So game number 3 will be on the play. Opponent is Goblins. And this is a perfectly keepable hand. We'll ponder, we'll see Brainstorm, Snapcaster, Plow, and on this ponder, what are we going to do? We're going to keep... Actually, you know what? We could use a blue source here. So, you know, while this does look like gas, we've already got a Snapcaster. We've already got another cantrip. Plow's not bad, but would really like to see some more lands. So let's give it a shuffle. And all right, we got a plains, not bad. Opponent, they're gonna go land Ragavan. Well, good thing we got this Caracas, eh? So we're just gonna play Caracas. We're gonna ponder again. Okay, second plains. I would have rather that was a blue source, especially since we've already got Caracas. So we see Brainstorm, Snow-Covered Mountain, Plow. I think that's a fine keep. So we'll take the Brainstorm first. We don't need the Plow because we're just gonna bounce Ragavan here. So yeah, we'll play this little game of Ragavan attacks, and then we bounce. And opponent's just gonna play a land and replay Ragavan. So moving on to turn 3. We're just gonna draw a Plow here, play a land, pass the turn. And we'll just, you know, we'll be content to keep bouncing this monkey. Opponent's going to... What's opponent going to do here? They play their own Caracas, and we bounce Ragavan. They replay Ragavan. So, okay, now we both have the ability to bounce Ragavan. It does make our Plow a little worse against Ragavan, so now we have to be a little concerned if they find, say, a Wasteland to take out our Caracas, because now we don't have an efficient answer to Ragavan. So we'll draw a mountain here, play the mountain, pass the turn. Still obviously light on blue. You know, would like a second blue source either for Narset or to go Snapcaster cantrip. So opponent's gonna, yeah. I know that was a lot there, wasn't it? I probably should have done that in slow-mo step by step, but to walk you through it, they attacked, we bounced the monkey, they played Lackey, we plowed Lackey, and then we brainstormed. We saw a Prismatic Ending, Shark Typhoon, and Brainstorm, and we put back our 2 Narsets. So now that clears that up, big surprise, what are we going to draw here? It's going to be a Narset. Play our plains, and we could brainstorm here, but we don't. I think it's better to wait until we draw through our Narsets so that the brainstorm sees us more new cards. So they attack, we bounce monkey, and then they're gonna play a Crater Maker after combat, and we'll make ourselves a 2/2 shark. So we drew our second Narset off the Shark Typhoon. So now we're going to draw a Scalding Tarn and play it. Now we could brainstorm, cantrip, not going to. Just continue to wait because we've got a lot of reactive spells now. I mean, we can brainstorm in response to something. We can snap brainstorm. We can snap ponder. So let's just hold things off. And here I make a minor mistake. They're going to flash in a munitions expert on the end step. Now, in response to that, I play my Snapcaster. Or I'm sorry, I brainstorm. And then I play my Snapcaster. And then I plow their Crater Maker. The better way to do this would have been to let Munitions Expert resolve, target my Shark token, and then plow the Crater Maker with that on the stack, because Munitions Expert would then only deal 1 damage to the Shark token and not kill it. But that's fine. So, all right. We'll resolve this Brainstorm, put back Prismatic Ending there. Or I'm sorry, we put back a Narset and a Prismatic Ending. We get our land, and now we do this whole sequence I just described. And because I did that in the wrong order, they can pick Snapcaster as a target for Munitions Expert and actually kill something. All right, so again, they've also still got this Ragavan in hand that we've just kept bouncing. So now they've got an answer to it. They're going to go ahead and waste my Caracas, so we'll just float a white, even though that does nothing. Then they're going to blast the Shark token. They're going to dash Ragavan, and here we'll force, because I don't want them to now have Ragavan going with Caracas, and we have no answer. So coast is clear for Narset. They've got no red untapped. So why don't we minus her? Okay, we've only got one choice. We take the plow and save the plow for at some point when we need instant speed. Right now, I think we have the mana, nothing else to spend it on. We just use the Prismatic Ending on that Munitions Expert, get him out of here. And pass the turn. All right, so now they're going to, dash Monkey, hit Ponder. So they dash Monkey, they hit Ponder, and then they use the treasure token to blast our Narset. That may have been a little mistake on their part. They could have used the treasure token to play the Ponder that got exiled and use that Badlands to blast Narset. It wasn't like it was a bluff or something, because they only have one card left in hand, which is the Ragavan that they just picked back up. Well, anyways, we'll just go ahead. All right, we draw a land. We play a Narset. We grab a Dress Down there. And if you didn't see what the options were, it was Dress Down, Swords to Plowshares, Teferi, and Prismatic Ending. And I think we're ultimately probably just going to be cycling this Dress Down. So it's possible Teferi may have been a better draw there. So they play Ragavan. They swing at Narset. We plow Ragavan so that they're forced to pick Ragavan back up. Then they replay Ragavan. So not much accomplished there. We hit a Volcanic Island. All right, minus Narset to take Teferi. Play the Dress Down. Nothing great. So we bounce the Monkey. Draw another Teferi. So could be a pitch for Force of Will. We've got Narset and Teferi sitting here. They're both on 1 loyalty, unfortunately. All right. So they play Ringleader. We will force that. Don't want them to reload on cards. And they can't blast because we've got this Teferi. 2 cards left. One of them is Ragavan. Other one is Unknown. They're being conservative with their Ragavan here, obviously. They could have played the Ragavan, but they wanted to wait until they had Caracas protection. So what are we going to do here? We're just going to draw for the turn, brainstorm, find Snapcaster. Snapcaster flashes back, what was it, a Ponder, which finds us Days Undoing, and now we pretty much have the game locked up. We just wait for their draw step, play Days Undoing, and watch them scoop. That is game. So we kick the tournament off with a win.